Good evening. I'd like to call this Board of Health meeting to order, 5:30, and we're going to start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So first up on our agenda is to talk about the Body Works regulations. So we'll have you kind of just briefly talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So I believe the copies that you guys have in front of you are Oxford and Framingham?
Yep.
Okay. I know that we had this on the agenda a couple months ago. Those are to be reviewed so that way we can kind of come up with a collaboration and kind of pick and choose which sections we like out of each regulation and start drafting up a draft regulation for that.
So we see a trend coming in more towns, putting some regulations in place.
Framingham's has had theirs for quite some time. Do you know how old Oxford's regs are?
Oxford, so Rika Sarah, Director of Public Health for the town of Oxford. Our regulations predate me starting there, but I think they are fairly new because Oxford had some incidences several years back which prompted the promulgation of our regs, and ours are pretty strict. And I know that the Board of Health worked closely with the police department and KP Law, I believe,
To the development of them. Perfect.
Perfect. Verifiability is probably the one comment I would make on it, is,
Yep.
for everything that pertains inside of it, a business like that. Verifiability.
Yep.
These are fairly lengthy, so I'm sure they take a while.
They do.
One at a
And
time, or like, technically, how, do you do one section like this, 1, 2, 3?
I
So
mean,
many.
reviewing both of them
Yeah.
kind of simultaneously and like highlighting,
Things
I
that you
like
like.
I like this part from this section, this part from the
Okay.
other ones, is typically the way to go. As with promulgating any new regulations, it is a process because you have to have first read, second read, public comment. We have a couple of existing establishments in town, so obviously we'd be inviting them for public hearings. So it is a lengthy process, but it's definitely one that we can undertake.
Anything else on it? We don't have an audience except for right, so, there's no comment from the public. All right, so we'll move on to number 2.
Perfect.
Discussion and updates on our bike rodeo. Jen Canoyer's not here, the chair. We were gonna meet with Sergeant Poplowski last week, but, the plans kind of fell through, just to kind of regroup and talk about where we are. It's on for June 22nd, 5 to 7 here in the town hall parking lot. She did reach out to, the police chief, to go over our plans, just to make sure that they're aware, because in the past, we close off one section, so we just want to let them know. So right now, it still has not been approved, because we have to go to the selectmen meeting, which I believe their next meeting was June 5th. So Lori's gonna go and just present our plans, and we'll hopefully get the final approval. I think we're still slated to have children's come. We're waiting to hear from Sergeant Poplowski if, Southbridge Tire is going to come. I did reach out to Boy Scouts. I put out some, those save the date cards that we used. I sent those out at their last meeting, so the boys could, take to volunteer, yeah. I believe Jen reached out to the Cubs.
And they have confirmed. that
So, all
there
right.
comes, hot dogs, I think.
That's good,
Yeah.
all right.
So there will be hot dogs and drinks, I think, is what
Okay.
she said.
Right.
So that's perfect for them. That's a great opportunity
Right.
for them to make a little bit of money for their trip
Mhm.
too.
Right, and I think as soon as we get approval on the 5th, then we can kind of confirm, that day,
Mhm.
or how we're gonna set up the back here.
The parking lot,
Yeah.
exactly, with the course.
So other than that, we have the helmets. Hopefully we'll get a good turnout.
Yep. And Boston Children's will come, and more helmets, so it's
You're doing the save the date the week prior at
Yeah,
Right.
as soon as
Strawberries.
June 5th we're approved,
Right.
then we can start blasting out the save the date with the library, Boys and Girls Club, we'll put the signs outside.
Sure.
We'll have a table at the Strawberry Festival, I
Right,
believe.
yeah, and hopefully we can get a, just like a save the date card to the elementary school principals to put in their last, not bulletins, what have you, but to the parents, their notifications, so hopefully.
So I just had a note, and this is something moving forward, just on the topic of, we were so restricted for funds right now. What if we asked for some sponsors for this moving forward?
Yeah,
You know,
I think there's some red tape there that we can't, I'm not sure.
For this type of event?
Yeah.
Okay. It just was a thought. that
She'd be
came
the
to
one to
mind.
know the right
Okay.
answer to that, but I think in the past I've commented on that, and I think we're not really allowed to, but,
Okay,
yeah,
it's just a thought,
I know.
to help out a little bit.
All right, so discussion, recap on Earth Day. We had a really great day. I think we had more, we might have talked about this already, I feel
Mhm.
like we did, but we had a pretty good turnout. I like the article in the paper, it kinda touched on everything that we talked
Mhm.
about and plans for moving forward for next year. We're gonna get Dudley out there a little bit more, so that was nice.
A lot of
Yeah.
fun taking
Yeah.
Dudley out around town and, saying hi to people, and, Dudley had the sign bringing, awareness, and a lot of people actually didn't even know it was Earth Day, and they took bags, and, a couple of moms said, oh, the kids and I will walk and clean up the neighborhood,
Yeah.
so I think having Dudley out and about was a good call, and,
Yeah,
I
and get him
think,
some
like
new
you said.
costumes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anything else on that?
do we get a number, like, of how much tonnage of trash
I
you
think
get?
Jen or Amanda might have known
Okay.
that in empty seats.
Definitely
We'll
share
find
that.
out- yeah, we'll
Yep,
find
next-
out, yeah.
We'll find out for next meeting.
Right, so number 4, public health nurse report. I don't really have much to report on since I'm really not following the pandemic anymore or where we are, so I don't know if you have anything that she shared with you.
I don't have any recent updates. I certainly can get in touch with Sarah and Brianna for the stats, for what the month of April to May look like,
Yeah.
and for May to June, so we can present
Okay.
that at the next meeting.
Want to just roll into yours?
Sure. It's been busy, and I'm gonna be going out on leave soon, so in my absence, we have Rika Sterick from the town of Oxford providing some interim coverage. We do still have Doug Mercurio, who is our regional health inspector, so he is still kind of gonna be the boots on the ground for complaints. But Rika will also be available for executive decision-making when there's, permitting questions, things like that. Do you wanna do a brief introduction?
Want to come up? You can.
Hi, my name is Rika Sterrett. I introduced myself earlier. I'm the health director for the town of Oxford. I've been there almost a year and a half. And so Camille and I work closely. We're in the same PHE grant, so our regional staff are all shared. I said that I'd be happy to step in if there's any emergency or questions that come up. I'm only a phone call away. I'm always happy to help, so feel free to send me an email, give me a call. I've been working local public health for 8 years. Prior to Oxford, I was in Walpole as the deputy health agent, and prior to that, I started in Marlborough as their inspector.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Nice to meet both
put
of
a
you as
face
well.
with the name. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Anything else, Camille?
Not that I can think of.
So number 6 is the approval of the minutes, but Lori was not here at the last meeting, so I can't vote by myself, so we're gonna have to table that for the next meeting. Number 7 is public board comments. We don't have a public right now, so, how about yourself, Lori or Camille, anything?
I'm always big on the mosquito situation. So standing water buckets, they are out and about, and the ticks as well, but mosquitoes like standing water areas. Not that we had a lot of rain, but, so that's all I got to say about mosquitoes. Just dump, if you notice places that water has collected,
Yeah.
try to empty them and put your repellent on, and watch out for the kids, later in the day when we're all outside playing, because we've had some nice weather. Yeah, we've had a few already arrive and land, so
Oh, I
Yeah.
haven't seen any yet, but that's a good point. So,
And that's it.
all right, well, looks like, we're on number 8, I'm making, to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
I second that, meeting adjourned at 5:40.